What's up, you guys? It's VincaniTV, and today we're gonna be talking about swipes. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with a couple things with swipes, and it's been a minute since we actually touched on how to do swipes and how to improve them. So today I have 3 basic tips for you guys to improve your swipes, or if you are struggling with them, these will also help you get them down. So without further ado, let's get started. So to get started, I've been teaching kids swipes for a lot of years, and these are very common mistakes that I've noticed throughout my teaching career. And the first one starts with your leg. A lot of people tend to bend their leg, and even when I first started, I had this problem with my leg being like this, and it was just kind of just being aware of my leg that helped me keep it straight. So the trick that I have is to either point your toe like this or to hold it like this. Just kind of being conscious of I have to point my toe or do something with that. It kind of forces you to straighten your leg, because a lot of times people, they'll have their leg straight and it's just like this every time they swipe. It's very, very common. Pointing your toe will not only make your swipes look really pretty, but it'll keep your leg straight, making your swipes look fabulous. Number 2, a lot of people have trouble with keeping their hips up. They do these swipes where maybe they lift up their hips, but it drops down to something like this, which is actually not really a swipe. It's like a baby swipe, right? We want to do the big boy swipes, okay? So we want to be able to keep our hips straight. One quick little exercise that you guys can practice is just jumping with your leg and your hips and trying to make it as straight as possible. So focusing on keeping your leg straight, you lift it up, and then with your leg, you're gonna jump like that, okay? All right, just practice here. Try to get as high as you can, but also maintaining some type of level, right? And then try it with one arm, so it's lifting like that. You're gonna notice that this is actually really, really tiring. It's almost like an extreme sit-up, which leads me to point number 3. The last thing that people struggle with, and this is probably the most helpful tip, is getting your body up higher. A lot of people do these really, really low swipes, which is cool. There's no problem with doing low swipes, but when you're able to go up in the air, they become much lighter feeling, they float. They also require a little bit less energy because you're more so floating versus like using your muscles to turn you over. So for this exercise, I want to show you guys one quick thing. It's kind of like this, like if you lift your leg up like this, it's like boom, boom. But we want to lift our leg up and we want to float, so it's like float, right? And the way that happened was I put my weight onto my hands, right? If I'm just like this, I'm like, right? My weight is so much more distributed towards my feet and not on my arms. When I put my weight more on my arms, now my legs can float. So if you guys watch, it might go a little bit higher, and I'm just gonna float. Almost like I'm coming down from outer space, right? Something like that. Right now we're gonna do a little practice swipe, and I wanna show you guys the difference. So, swipe that's low, again, let's just pretend you just learned swipe and you're just like, right? That felt really, really heavy because most of my weight, again, was just more so like thrown to the other side. It was just whipped around. I'm gonna do the same exact thing, but I'm gonna put weight on my hands, and I want you guys to look at the difference, okay? From here, I'm gonna put the weight on my hands, up, down, okay? You guys see that? Even though my form wasn't pretty that time, I was focusing on getting my weight on my hands, okay? So shifting your weight onto your hands, right? We're gonna do it almost like a handstand. Ready? We go up and back down, okay? Now let's do it again and not make a ton of noise. Ready? Up, whoa. Now in order to get our form down, I'm gonna practice it from our beginning swipe. So reaching into it and throwing my first swipe. Okay, so I'm gonna do it from standing. When you're first learning the swipe, I recommend doing it just for form purposes, learn it on the ground. But once you understand the direction and the basic motion of the swipe, practice it from standing. Okay, so right now I'm gonna do one swipe, trying to keep my legs straight, hips up, and also floating on my hands. Okay, ready? I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna go here. Okay, if you notice, it's almost like I'm jumping over, but when I jump over, my weight goes on my hands. Let's try it one more time. Ready? I jump back. And one thing that you're gonna notice is when you start putting your weight onto your hands,
your hips are just automatically gonna lift up. So that burden of having to hold your hips up suddenly starts to disappear.
Alright you guys, so the last thing that you need to do is training. Now, training is something that takes a lot of discipline, and so I'm gonna give you guys this basic formula to follow. So I want you to take that one single swipe from standing. I want you to do it 10 times, alright? 10 times. And if you don't feel comfortable by 10 times, do more, okay? Then you're gonna do 2 swipes. You're gonna take those 2 swipes and you can do it 10 times, right? You're gonna be pretty tired after that, right? You're then gonna move on to doing 3 swipes, 4 swipes, and then finally 5 swipes, right? And doing 5 swipes 10 times is 50 swipes. So that's a lot of swipes. And that's just one practice. The next practice, I want you guys to do the same thing, but eventually work your way up to doing 10 swipes at a time. And once you got those 10 swipes, that's when you can say, I got swipes down. Because if you can't do 10 swipes, then it's hard for you to say that you could do swipes, because you can't even do 10, right? Same thing with windmills, flares, all that. If you can't do 10, then you really don't have those moves down. So practice it, and practice it one step at a time. Don't try to do 10 before you can't even do 1 nice, okay? Work your way up from the ground up, and you'll make yourself feel a whole lot better. So let's go over those 3 things. Number 1, keep your legs straight. Number 2, keep those hips up. And number 3, shift your weight to your hands, making your swipe look effortless and weightless, all right? I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope this helps you guys with your swipes, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.